Thank you so much for spending this time with me. One of the things that I am so passionate about is sharing the information that continues to be revealed to me the more I navigate the deeper waters of my spiritual journey, if you will. Now, I call it a spiritual journey because that is what is commonly referred to as this journey of self-awareness, this journey of reconnecting with the essence of who we are. And I understand what that journey is all about, not only because I have had my own spiritual experience, and I am continuing to have more and more things revealed and unfold and deepen within my own personal self-awareness. But the reason I call it a spiritual journey is because there is a process that we all go through to reconnect with the essence of who we are. So this journey, if you will, is a journey that appears to have this movement forward, but that's not really what is happening. And I want to take the opportunity through this series of videos that I am doing to offer information as to what the journey is all about, what are the aspects that I have encountered in the journey, as well as the hundreds, maybe 1,000 clients by now that I have worked with, whether they've participated in my workshops or whether they have attended one of my talks or are individual coaching clients. Anyways, as I continue to glean all of this information personally and through my clients, I have recognized some very, very incredible patterns. And it's really amazing how all of these things, they kind of fit together like pieces of a puzzle, but they do happen in a very, kind of like a specific pattern. They go from A, B, C, D, so on and so forth. Just like the seasons follow a set pattern, where there's winter, spring, summer, fall, so too the spiritual journey follows a set pattern from what I call conception to enlightenment. So let's talk about this journey. The spiritual journey is what appears to be a movement forward. A movement where we're moving towards our power, towards our strength, towards our connection with the divine, or whatever it is that we think this spiritual journey is leading us to. More often than not, we are believing, the more we understand what the journey is about, that we are coming to a place of oneness with God, with Source, with Spirit, with Creator, with whatever it is that feels comfortable for you to call it. Or as they say in AA, the God of our own understanding. Because the spiritual journeys are very individualized, even though they are very, very specific, very, pattern is the word that I keep using, because I continue to see the unfoldment of the journey in a very specific pattern with just about everybody that I've ever either known, have studied, or my own personal experience. They all look the same. So this journey that appears as a movement forward is in reality a movement backward. And the reason I say backwards is because we are going back through the layers of our life. We're in essence looking at the life experiences that we have had that have brought us to this point. So in the journey, we're not going towards something. We are actually moving backwards, returning to what we naturally are. And the reason this is so is because we were born from the moment of conception. Who we are, what we are, is already whole, divine, and complete. You can look at a newborn child and there is nothing any of us has to add to that baby for it to become a full-grown adult. There is absolutely nothing that we need to do to it, nothing externally that can be done to it for it to develop as it's going to develop. Not even a baby, just from the moment of conception. There's not a single scientist in the world that can replicate the creation that is taking place, the evolution of this egg and this sperm that are dividing and subdividing and becoming a human being. No different than we can take a seed of, let's say an acorn. There's nobody here, there's not a single scientist, or anybody for that matter, that can take an acorn and have it become anything other than a full-grown oak tree. It's impossible. Nor that we can take a corn or a pea and have it turn into anything other than peas, or take a rose and have it become an orchid. So within us is already the seed of what we're going to become. So what is this seed, and what gets it going? What gives it this information? Well, to me, that seed is our divine connection with this source of all that is. And to me, that source, which is in everything and creates everything, expresses through everything as, well, everything. That's why we have diversity. That seed is a tiny little speck of all that can possibly be, which is why an oak tree dumps thousands of little acorns. So this source of all that is shows up in billions of little people, and we're all expressing ourselves. But what happens is, pretty much from the moment of conception, the minute this source of all that is entering this human form, is having this human experience, it is beginning to receive information from the outside. Whether it be the mother is tight and tense because she's scared about this pregnancy, or the dad is not there, and there is a sense of fear that the mother is experiencing, or these parents are excited, or maybe just the mother is excited. Either way, there is a message that is being sent to that little embryo from the moment of conception. This is a wonderful place that you're coming to, a very loving place, I can't wait to see you. Or, this is a pretty scary spot that you're about to enter into, and I'm cautioning you because I am so tight and tense, there is fear, my body is contracting. So because we're energetic beings, we are one with this energy that is creating everything. This life force that is in, whether it's the acorn or the human, is nothing more than energy. I like to think of it as the energy of love. So this energy is beginning to grow inside a womb, and it is beginning to get information from the exterior, from the outside world. It is beginning to understand who it is, what it's supposed to be when it grows up, what its name is going to be, what ethnicity it's going to have, what culture it's going to experience. The outside begins to tell it what it's supposed to be. So the source of all that is, infinite in its knowledge, condenses itself into one little point and comes into an environment that announces to it who it's going to be. And then we go on through our life, however long that life is, whether it's 3 years and we are reconnecting with who we are, whether it's 10 years, 40 years, 100 years. It doesn't matter at what point in our human experience we begin the process of wanting to reconnect with who we really are. So when that process of self-awareness happens, guess what we have to do? We have to go back in time to that moment of conception. Because it's at that moment of conception that it's like a switch takes over, or turns over, if you will. And the minute that switch goes off, the source of all that is, this infinite potential that I am, condenses into a finite point. It's going to become a finite individual. And once we begin to believe that that is all that we are, we in essence kind of go to sleep, if you will. We forget that that's what we are, that that's where we came from. And we believe that this is all that we are. This thing that we have been told we are is what we believe we are. So going back to that moment of conception and then seeing what's behind that. What is the source that manifested my life experience? Where did I come from? What powers me? What's my juice? So the spiritual journey is a going back, a tracing back the steps, which are really the beliefs, the life experiences that we had. And then we created perceptions and beliefs based on our level of maturity at that time that those things happened. And typically the things that define us, for the most part, is being told what is right and what is wrong about who we are. And they begin to tell us that this magnificent source that we had power to or access to, we no longer have access to. So this source of all power now gets condensed and diminished into a finite source that in essence becomes powerless because it is conditioned to believe that the power comes from the outside. Mother, father, teacher, preacher, the media, the government, external forces become our source of approval. So going back on the spiritual journey is going back to find out who was I before I began to believe all these things that all these people told me and reconnect with that. Which is why one of the most amazing things that has ever been recorded, and it's been said by many people in many different ways, the people that we've studied, people that we respect, but I'm going to mention specifically Jesus because I grew up in a Christian environment. Catholic was my upbringing. So I'm more familiar with that than I am with other religions. But anyways, Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven is within. So we continue to move forward in search of the kingdom of heaven outside of us when we're completely unaware that the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. And we access it when we understand the force that is powering us. That which is moving us forward is the very same thing that we are beginning to understand as we travel the spiritual journey. So when I say the spiritual journey is really about going backwards, it is about looking at all of the beliefs, the stories, the ideas, the perceptions that I have that tell me that my source of power is somewhere out here in front of me. Isn't that cool to know? That the journey is just about reconnecting with a force that brought me to this place? And that I can go ahead and stop looking for it outside of me? It's a marvelous thing. So through a lot of these videos, what I am wanting to do is share with you all of these insights that I have received and share it in the way that I understand them. And I invite you to take from this video whatever resonates and leave whatever does not. And the reason I say that is I want you to feel enriched by this information and not that you're taking some information that doesn't make sense to you and it becomes more of a source of confusion or a source of anger or disappointment. I want you to know that the source that powers all of us is nothing but love, joy, peace, fun, excitement, creation, creativity. So I want you to leave with a sense that you have received a little bit of truth. But if it doesn't feel like your truth, just leave it right here. Just the fact that I've had the opportunity of sharing this with you is a gift to me. It's how I connect with that source. Because when I'm speaking the truth that has been revealed to me, I actually am embodying that. So regardless of how this serves you, or maybe it doesn't, thank you for this incredible opportunity by which I get to share the information about the power of awareness. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And by the way, you are magnificent.